The new moon in Sagittarius on December 1st of 2024 brings brave, grandiose new beginnings to our passions and growth. And the way we are discovering these brave, grand new beginnings is through old connections or self-reflection. So in this video, I'm going to break down everything that you need to know about this new moon that is happening in the sign of Sagittarius on December 1st of 2024. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Isabel, and today I want to talk about what you need to know about the new moon happening in the sign of Sagittarius on December 1st of 2024. Now, granted, it does peak on December 1st, but given that every new and full moon has a shadow period, we will feel this energy as early as November 28th, and the energy will dissipate on December 4th. So that whole week's time, we're going to be feeling this energy, and in the end, this Sagittarius new moon, looking at the chart, is really an invitation to self-reflect, or through old connections, one of the two, we're going to be discovering what meaning we gain from our passions, from our creativity, and how this affects our self-growth. This is a very intriguing full moon, new moon to me, because new moons are new beginnings, granted, or naturally. But this is really bridging the gap, I think, that we often can get with fire energy, where it's either all about passion or all about purpose, especially when we're talking about Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a philosopher, ideological, an adventurer, and oftentimes it is forgotten that this, in the end, is rooted in the same themes of fire energy, like Leo and Aries, of passion and creativity. And so with the two other placements that are current, that are forming aspect with this new moon, I really think that this new moon is revolving around us reflecting and discovering more purpose in our passion, as well as having maybe some, instead of trying to always be a better human being, just accepting ourselves for who we are. And this could be a breakthrough for us spiritually. So before I dive in, before I go any further, be sure to book a reading in the link in the description below if you want to learn more about how this new moon is specifically affecting you in your chart. If you want to know how other planetary transits are affecting you, where you're headed, what the universe is calling you to do right now, or if you just want to learn more about your chart, book a reading in the link in the description below, and you can learn more information down there. So there are four major aspects that are happening with this new moon in Sagittarius that I'm going to be talking about, as well as an overview into what it means to have a new moon in Sagittarius and what to generally expect, and maybe even horoscopes at the end. I haven't decided yet for each zodiac sign for this new moon. So if you already know the general gist of what a new moon in Sagittarius's themes are, you feel like that's covered a lot, you have a great grasp of Sagittarius itself, check out the timestamps below to just jump on specific transits that are happening with this new moon and aspects that are happening with this new moon, because I do think they play a big role. However, I do want to cover just generally what a new moon in Sagittarius is about in the first place, to give a good basis of understanding and something to contemplate, which Sagittarius, as much as they're a driven, always on the go fire sign, this is a great time for us to reflect. And that is because Mercury here is retrograde in the sign of Sagittarius. So first and foremost, let's talk about what it means to have a new moon in Sagittarius really quick. A new moon is new beginnings, but I want to clarify this even more, because oftentimes when we hear new moon, we just go, cool, new beginnings, happens once a month. But I really want to talk about what kind of new beginning it is, because yes, it is a new moon, but what does that exactly mean? The sun and moon are meeting in a zodiac sign. The sun, which is our vitality and our ego, and the moon, which is like our inner child and our emotional desires. So it's what gives us vitality and what gives us emotional fulfillment, what gives us strength and what gives us nurturance. These two major aspects of our being. After all, the sun and moon form out of three of our big three. So these are two major, hypothetically, big parts of our personality, and they're coming together to meet a level zero, or a ground zero point, a clean slate to reassess a certain needs we may have in a certain area of life. Hence why it's good to know what house your Sagittarius is, so to say, in the sense that, so this new moon is happening at 9 degrees Sagittarius. So look to your chart. Where is 9 degrees of Sagittarius in your chart? What house is that? That is where we are seeking new beginnings. So this is a new beginning, but it is from the state of a clean slate, a once a year clean slate that we seek out with that area of life. We're reassessing and going, okay, this is what I need next for my development emotionally and also for my strength, for my vitality. So in the end, these new beginnings revolve around asking ourselves, what makes me feel supported and emotionally fulfilled, and what makes me feel strong? And where are my emotions stepping out of their range? Where are they crossing boundaries? And where is my ego crossing boundaries that are not fulfilling to me? With this being in Sagittarius, we are setting new beginnings around Sagittarius themes in whatever house that is happening in for you. But Sagittarius in the end is the inner adventurer in us all. The part of us that wants to seek a deeper meaning, the part of us that knows that we must step into the unknown and adventure and explore from a passionate state of mind in order to evolve. Sagittarius is the final fire sign of the zodiac wheel, and so it represents like this wildfire within us. Passion untamed, and passion untamed that comes from broadening our perspective. Whatever house Sagittarius is in for you is where you feel that you need to have the most space, the most freedom, the most exploration. In the end, Sagittarius is about the passion that comes from life through exploring. And this doesn't just play out physically, this is mentally as well. Sagittarius is said to be the trailblazer or the archer. The way I picture it is Sagittarius is meant to pave the way forward with an open mind. And so they pick a physical trail to guide the way. And they play the role eventually to saying, okay, so I think the best way to make it to the horizon and to get over this mountain is by taking the path on the left side, the west side, or whatever. And then Capricorn goes and does that trail that has been blazed as the next zodiac sign in the zodiac wheel. But Sagittarius in the end, their true purpose is in a way, while it's action, it's contemplation. Their visionary nature is their greatest skill set. And they do put this into implementation. They do act on it, but they have an ability to see such a broader view that is valuable to this world and is needed for a sense of freedom. We find that there's an emotional fulfillment and a passion to be discovered through being totally unrestricted, totally free, following our hearts and seeing how far we can go. So with the new moon being in the sign of Sagittarius, in the end, the theme is for us to set a new beginning into how we are going to be a trailblazer in our lives. And where do we need to be a trailblazer? Where do we need to have more unrestricted freedom? And how can we give ourselves this freedom through mental exploration, breaking mental boundaries, or through breaking physical boundaries? Do we need to go try new things? In the end, with a new moon being in Sagittarius, which is a fire sign, there is an emphasis on taking action, I believe, because this is fire energy, fire's action, fire's passion, fire's desire. So in the end, this is about us acting on a desire, so to say, rather than if we had a new moon in an earth sign, that would be about material security or stability, or a water sign on just feeling into things. This is about us finding our desires and following the callings of our heart. So this is a time for us to decide and reflect on, okay, what's the next new desire I have and how am I going to step into that? And is it going to be uncomfortable? It probably will be, but how can I face this discomfort? How can I face the unknown to find higher passion, higher fulfillment, and deeper meaning in my life? So that's an overview of the Sagittarius new moon as a just general overview. However, taking aspects into account is going to be very important, especially because we have 3, if not 4, really major aspects, 2 of which are going to be a bit more challenging or throw us out of how we would expect to experience this new moon, and 2 of which are going to add extra fuel to the fire of discovering our passions. So let's talk first and foremost about the one that I'm sure everyone is talking about, which is Mercury retrograde. 3 times a year, Mercury retrograde comes around and the world loses their minds because there's so many misconceptions about Mercury retrograde. And I see a lot of astrologers out there who do a really good job of explaining this. So not putting anyone or throwing anyone under the bus. Everyone has their unique interpretation of astrology. The way I like to remember Mercury retrograde, that is much less fear-mongering for my personal life, is Mercury is the planet of communication. When it appears to be retrograde, it appears to be moving in reverse. And so to me, this invites us to reflect on the way we think and communicate. This doesn't necessarily mean the world's going to end because there's miscommunication. Yes, that means that it just means that we need to reflect on how we are speaking more. Even as of filming this video, as Mercury retrograde has started, I'm having to reflect on my words as I say them more, which means that maybe it's a little harder for me to communicate, but it's inviting me to do so to be more impeccable with my word. And so that's some themes I can come up with. Mercury retrograde in the sign of Sagittarius, the same sign as this new moon, however, not conjunct, but still in the same sign. This is bringing an energy of self-reflection or bringing back the past in order to take action and initiate in alignment. I will be personally looking at, and I want to bring this up because of that, when we had our last Mercury retrograde. So I wanted to pull that up really quick. So Mercury entered Sagittarius on November 2nd. So we've been experiencing Mercury energy in Sagittarius for some time now, about a month. And this has been asking us to, again, similar to the new moon themes, go deeper into how is stepping into the unknown uncomfortable? How can I step into the unknown and step into discomfort mentally with the way I think, the way I communicate? How can I broaden my horizons and step into this uncomfortable zone to grow? In some area of our lives, we were trying to expand our way of communicating. But now at this retrograde, we're reflecting on that work we're doing and going, okay, I've tried out some new ways of communicating, new ways of expressing. I've maybe learned some new things. I've tried stepping out of my comfort zone, expanding my horizons with how I communicate, what I think, what I'm learning. How has that been serving me? And so this new moon in Sagittarius, being in the same sign as Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, of course, is asking us to maybe take some self-reflection, going, what have I learned so far? And revisit maybe old conversations potentially. And how can that help me step out of my comfort zone and expand my horizons to live a more passionate and meaningful life? Mercury retrograde not only brings up themes of self-reflection, but yes, it can bring up old conversations or old connections. Like everyone talks about the ex-boyfriend reaching out stereotype with Mercury retrograde. It's possible that someone from the past may come into your life, someone who holds Sagittarius themes or is in someone you know through the area of life in which Mercury is retrograde in Sagittarius. So for example, if Mercury was retrograde in Sagittarius in your 6th house, maybe a coworker is coming back into your life. Or if it's in your 10th house, maybe it's a business partner. If it's in your 7th house, maybe it's an old lover. This could be someone from the past coming back into our lives. It could be revisiting an old conversation. It could be revisiting anything from the past. So it could be revisiting a course that you purchased. It could be revisiting a place that you've been, especially if this is your 4th house, revisiting a hometown. Something from the past is coming back to help us fuel the fire of our passion and meaning going forward. We're using this self-reflection proactively. But we can also get some clues into maybe what these finalized themes for the year of self-reflection are serving. So looking back to our previous Mercury retrogrades, we have had Mercury retrograde in April and August, as well as now this year. In April, on April 1st, Mercury went retrograde in Aries, which is a fellow fire sign. And this is the same sign as our North Node. And so this is probably, we're in April reflecting for 2 weeks or so about how do I want to grow? Who do I want to grow into being? What does independence mean to me? What does assertion mean to me? And then in August, Mercury went retrograde in Virgo and entered Leo. So we were, again, reflecting on similar passion themes, other fire signs saying, well, what does passion mean to me? And as well as how can I be impeccable with my word? Where's my inner critic? So there is a theme, I think, with these Mercury retrogrades, all revolving around 3 different fire signs of what does passion mean to me? What does assertion mean to me? How can I channel this? How can I fulfill it? What do I want to learn that is exciting, that is fun? What is my desires? What are my passions? What are my desires? I'm repeating the desires one again because really in the end, fire energy is about our desire. While the water signs are about our emotional fulfillment, this is more of a finding emotional harmony energy, whereas fire signs are truly about our desire. Aries represents that. Nothing gets done or everything starts with desire. And of course, yes, Mercury was retrograde in Virgo too. And this could have, I think, personally, how I saw it for me and how I think it played out for a lot of people was checking in with our inner critic and checking in with how much of a perfectionist we're being with ourselves. And I think this ties into Mercury retrograde themes in the sense of, do we have to go about fulfilling our desires by being perfect all the time? And does everything always have to be practical, or can we just be a little bit impulsive? Is there a time and place for that? Is there times where we need to channel our impulse? So overall, this Mercury retrograde being conjunct a new moon really does wrap up the themes of these self-reflections we've been doing. So look back to what was going on during those Mercury retrogrades for you mentally. What were you learning about? What were you reflecting on? What were you wanting to change about yourself? And take into account, of course, the information I've said with Mercury retrograde in Aries, being with the same sign as the North Node. I take that into account. We can go into that more in reading, but I don't want to take too much time to talk about this. Point is, with the new moon and Mercury retrograde being in the same sign, there's self-reflection themes, old things from the past coming up, but old things with new beginnings. The second and third aspects that are going hand in hand with this new moon in Sagittarius are two very positive ones that I want to talk about next that also tie into Mercury retrograde, how I just talked about, because these two aspects are in the same two signs that we had Mercury retrograde in. So we have Mars in Leo at 5 degrees of Leo, forming a positive aspect to the new moon happening in 9 degrees of Sagittarius. And we have, I'm blanking on words, the North Node in Aries, again at 4 degrees, so only 1 degree different, forming a trine as well to the new moon in Sagittarius. So we have basically, I suppose, is that considered a grand trine, isn't it? I know I sound like an idiot here, not knowing what this is called, but I would think that this is a grand trine if it was that. I've never learned actually what a grand trine is because I just use it proactively. Anyway, point is, we have 3 different powerful placements in fire signs all working together. A trine is a positive aspect. It brings luck, it brings expansion. You can think of it as like a perfect 3-way high five where they're all going, yeah, we're on the same page. So Mars being in Leo, and by the way, Mars is about to go retrograde in Leo and be in Cancer for a long, long time. But Mars is in Leo direct right now. And what this has been inviting us to do ever since it entered Leo, which I believe it entered Leo on November 3rd, has been to act in alignment with passion. You know, maybe there's a time and place to take the spotlight, to be seen, to be courageous, to be brave, and to lead with love. And maybe the spotlight isn't a bad thing because it inspires others. We have been called to have fun. We've been called to follow our passions, to follow our fun, follow our joy, follow our bliss, follow the excitement. And this may have put us in the spotlight in some area of life, depending on what house your Mars in Leo is in. Again, right now, Mars is in Leo at 5 degrees, so you can check for specific degrees based off of if you use the Placidus system. If you use whole sign, just check the house anyway. Not going to be as hard though. Point is, Mars being in Leo brings passionate action. We want to act in alignment with passion. Everything for us, life is supposed to be fun. That is a philosophy and a motto that becomes more true during this time. We want to act for the sake of fun, but sometimes fun requires bravery. Sometimes fun requires courage. And of course, fun requires acting from a place of love. So we are acting from our hearts and maybe even having to put a little courage into our hearts from that. And then, of course, the North Node being at 4 degrees of Aries. This has been a huge transit. I'm going to give a really exaggerated movement so I remember to put my 1 hour long video on the North Node transiting Aries here because I filmed that video a long time ago when the North Node entered Aries, and it's been a huge transit. If you're going to follow any transit, I personally follow the North Node transit the most, and it has helped me be the most proactive and focus on growth the most. So this is a big aspect in my personal interpretation of astrology, having the North Node forming a trine to the new moon in Sagittarius. The North Node in Aries means that all of us are feeling a call to grow towards more independence in a certain area of life. And we're learning the difference between aggression and assertion, especially because Chiron's here in the same sign. We're healing our relationship with anger and learning to assert ourselves, learning to be our own independent human beings and not be so codependent and lose ourselves for the sake of connection. So with the North Node being in Aries, we are called to be independent. And whenever we have a positive trine or aspect or transit that helps the North Node, this helps us step into our growth and learn how to be independent and walk our own path more easily. So with the new moon forming a grand trine or a trine to both the North Node in Aries and Mars in Leo, we are all on the same page with our growth, our actions, and our desires are working together to take passion-fueled action that is in alignment with our growth. We find that it's easy to act from our hearts during this time. And yes, there are things from the past that could be coming up or self-reflection happening that may be taking place to help us figure out what that action is. But in the end, our actions are in alignment with our heart. They're in alignment with our vitality. They're in alignment with the natural way we want to move right now. And they're in alignment with our highest growth right now. If your natal North Node is in Aries, this is a massive event for you. Or if your natal Mars is in Leo, or even if you're a Sagittarius sun or moon, this is going to be huge for you right now. But especially if you have your North Node in Aries, this is a huge stepping stone in your growth. But it's a huge stepping stone for all of us in general. The new moon in Sagittarius is in the end inviting us to step out of our comfort zone, explore new horizons, but this is going to support our growth of being independent and assertive and leading our own individual lives. And also it's going to feel easier to take this action right now because we have Mars and Leo fueling our fires, saying, yes, let's act on passion. It may require a bit of bravery, but I'm so ready. This is a huge positive aspect. And can you tell by my enthusiasm how excited I am about this? Because this is really beautiful fire energy that is in the end lighting all three fires like a triple burner. And I just think of Chinese medicine with that, saying, hey, let's get this passion. Let's get this desire. Fuel the fire in your veins. Feel the fire in your veins. Act on what you want, because life is supposed to be fun, life is supposed to be passionate, but life is also going to have us grow. And oftentimes when we follow our desires, we may get burnt a little, but in the end it serves our growth. So sometimes this fire, it is possible with this new moon, could be a bit burning, could be searing our skin just a little bit, and that could be through old connections coming up or, having the courage to make mistakes. In the end, it's not guaranteed that this action will be something perfect and easy, but it is the passion and the joy and the thrill that gives life meaning. And that is really what this new moon is about. And finally, the last aspect that is playing into this new moon in Sagittarius is Sagittarius's parent, so to say, parent planet, Jupiter, is in the opposing sign in Gemini. Jupiter entered Gemini, I believe, in May of 2024. And this put a theme on us finding spiritual expansion and physical, mental, emotional abundance through simple curiosity. We don't always have to seek greater meaning, we discovered. We sometimes just need to see what's right underneath our nose. And that is really what Jupiter and Gemini has been about. It's been having us observe what is right in front of us. Maybe the love of your life has been the barista all along, rather than somewhere out there. Maybe the dream career has been right under your nose. Maybe you just need to ask more questions and ask for what you want and appreciate the little things. That is the very simplified way I would describe this. I also have a video, I believe, on Jupiter and Gemini that you can check out here. Really exaggerated movements, so I really remember to put these in because I forget every time. Please comment below if I forgot to put it in. But in the end, with it opposing the new moon, the whole point of bringing this up is that it's opposing the new moon. More specifically, opposing Mercury retrograde, but the new moon as well, given that it's opposite signs and not too many degrees apart, 10 degrees apart. It's an opposition. And so what this means is that even though we've been naturally finding our growth through curiosity and the little things, our next big step for right now is to focus on our own personal meaning rather than the network around us, is how I'd interpret this. Yes, we have been rewarded, especially through the summer, and especially around June 5th when we had the new moon in Gemini, for being curious, asking others questions. But now it's time to turn inward and reflect on our own meaning. And it may feel like we're shrinking a little bit energetically, or maybe there's something physically going on, like financially or physical health-wise. But this is a time to focus on what gives me meaning, what is my unique desire. And maybe this requires you to take a step back from your social network a little bit. Maybe it's not as social as you expect it to be. I think that is really a big contrast that is overlooked with Sagittarius and Gemini's opposition. Gemini is very much a social butterfly, as much as they do focus on their own individual learning. And Sagittarius can be social as well because they're very much sociable and loud, but they're really more focused on their internal meaning. Gemini finds more meaning and connection through sending messages through other people. Gemini is like Hermes, or it's Gemini being ruled by Mercury, which is Hermes, the Roman god of communication, is really, or Greek god, is all about they find their purpose through networking through other people. They need people to bounce off of, whereas Sagittarius oftentimes lives a lonely life because they're blazing the trail on their own to lead others forward. That doesn't mean that they're not capable of socialization, but the point is, with this opposition, we may feel like, maybe I need to actually, as much as I want to have fun, maybe I actually don't feel called to spend time with people right now. Maybe I need to turn inward and discover my own personal meaning first really quick. And that can feel a little bit awkward. The whole point is that this energy can feel a little bit awkward, but our natural way of expanding in the end is going to feel opposing to what we feel called to do right now. And it is up to you to decide what that balance is that you're going to take. It could be that you still socialize, still network, because you do find abundance through your social interaction, but maybe what gives you abundance and what gives you meaning are going to be different right now. And so you have to decide how you're going to fulfill both of those. So now let's dive into some quick horoscopes for each zodiac sign for the new moon in Sagittarius on December 1st, starting off with Sagittarius. Usually I notice astrologers for the most part start at Aries and then go through Pisces, but a couple of full moons ago or so, I started with, I don't know, I guess it was Gemini, when it was a Gemini new moon or something. And I now love going through the horoscopes in this order, which is whichever is the star of the show, and then everything else after that. So if you're a Sagittarius, sun, moon, rising, this horoscope is for you. As you will see put over the screen, Sagittarius, this new moon in your sign is reflecting on the lessons you've learned and how you've expanded your horizons with your sense of self to initiate something new in your sense of self. First and foremost, this full moon or new moon is happening in your first house of self-identity. So you're starting a new cycle that'll both be 2 weeks and 6 months long, related to who you are and what your sense of self is. This is not only activating your first house though, this is also activating your 5th and 9th house, because the North Node being in your 5th house and Mars in Leo being in your 9th house. So you're revisiting old people, places, conversations that inspire you to start making something new or initiating something new with your identity. This could be old people coming into your life that remind you to bring back old parts of yourself. This could be going to places that make you feel like you're someone new who you've never been before. This could be conversations about things that you want to bring back into your personality. You're feeling inspired to courageously act on beliefs and step into the unknown in ways that align with your new sense of identity. You've been, since November 2nd, discovering and acting on what maybe your ideologies are, or acting in alignment with new beliefs that require you to be a bit courageous, or beliefs that help you be more loving, more Leo-like, and you may be even just traveling in ways that help you be more passionate, like a Leo, or more playful, like a Leo. And now these actions that you're taking now can be alignment with this new sense of self. You're starting new things in your sense of self that support your growth towards becoming more independent and assertive in your romantic life and creative pursuits, because the North Node is in your 5th house of play and romance, and it forms a grand fire trine with the new moon as well as Mars. Whatever your action you decide to take right now is going to help you with your romantic life, with your dating life, and also creative pursuits. So this could be if you're learning to dance or have a creative project or are really into art, this could help you there as well. If you are a Capricorn, sun, moon, or rising, this new moon in Sagittarius on December 1st of 2024, mainly, first and foremost, has you reflecting on lessons you've learned and how you have expanded your horizons with your unconscious behavior to initiate something new in this area of life. This is activating your 12th house, the house of the unconscious mind. So there's some sort of new beginning happening here that may require you to step out of your comfort zone. And this is because, of course, Mercury retrograde here. You may be revisiting people, places, or conversations that inspire you to start something new with your relationship, with your fears and beliefs. So you may be having a conversation, revisiting an old coach. You may be revisiting an old journal. Things that give you insight into what is going on in your unconscious mind that help you start something new and initiate something new with your unconscious mind. How do you let fear control you? Just as we all have primal fears, Capricorn, you're becoming aware of your primal fears now. You're starting new things with your unconscious programming that support your growth towards becoming more independent and assertive in your home and family life. With the North Node being in Aries in your 4th house, generally you are growing towards more assertion and independence in your home and family, but the fears that you overcome right now and initiate new beginnings with are going to help you actually achieve that. You're feeling inspired too to courageously act on your intimate relationships in ways that align with the beliefs and fears you're letting go of. What beliefs and fears keep you from trusting other people, keep you from being vulnerable with other people? Is there fears you can let go of? Are there beliefs you can let go of? And how does that change your intimate relationships? You could be getting close with another during this time. And you may be feeling a pull between working on the mind and working in routines. With the opposition that we have between Jupiter and the new moon, you may feel like you want to go deep into your subconscious and just spend some time in stillness and solitude. And at the same time, you want to promote and put in all the health habits, and you're trying to decide how proactive you should be. Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising. For the new moon in Sagittarius on December 1st of 2024, you are mainly, or first and foremost, reflecting on the lessons you've learned and how you've expanded your horizons with your sense of purpose to initiate something new in this area of life. This is activating 11th house energy for you. And so you may be discovering new ways that you want to either pursue your purpose, what your unique individual reason for being here is, or finding that sense of purpose through your community. This could be about friend groups more so for you, which is not something I necessarily show on the graph a lot or the summary that I've created, but this could be just simply about your friend group and finding more sense of meaning, purpose, a sense of belonging in your friend group. You may also be revisiting people, places, conversations that inspire you to start something new in your purpose or community. It's possible old friend groups are coming back, or maybe you're revisiting old communities that you used to be a part of, and they're inspiring you and reminding you to start something new related to your sense of purpose or community. You're also feeling inspired to courageously act on your relationships and cultivate connections in ways that align with your new sense of meaning. This is, I believe, your 8th house, if I'm remembering. Oh no, your 7th house, duh. So with the Mars being in your opposite sign in Leo since November 2nd, you've probably been feeling called to act more on your relationships. And this can be something that you are implementing now. Your purpose and community and your one-on-one relationships are going hand in hand. They're working together to give you a sense of strong people networks. So you have discovered that maybe a new community you're part of, or maybe you've been going on a few dates and vice versa, they're helping each other. Maybe you went on a date and now they introduced you to a new community with a new partner you're with. Or maybe on the other hand, maybe you are initiating yourself in a new community and that's helping you find the love maybe you're looking for or the partner you're looking for. You're starting new things in your aspirations and purpose-driven work that support your growth towards being more independent and assertive in your communication and network, I may add, even though I didn't put it on the graph once again. With the North Node being in Aries in your 3rd house, this really puts an emphasis on you growing towards a daily network, towards having people who you can reach out to on a day-to-day basis, who you see on a day-to-day basis. And of course, this is in the end focused on the way you communicate with them. So the new communities you insert yourself in are going to help you find that growth you're looking for in the way you communicate with people and how assertively you communicate with them and how independent you are in these networks on in your life, in your day-to-day life, so to say. Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. For the new moon in Sagittarius on December 1st of 2024, first, you are reflecting on lessons you've learned and how you have expanded your horizons with your career to initiate something new in this area in your life. So Mercury retrograde being in your 10th house, you're reflecting on what does recognition in my career mean? What do I want to be in my career? How does Sagittarius energy play into this? Do I want to be enthusiastic, optimistic, visionary? Do I want to be philosophical, ideological? You're reflecting on these new communication styles you've been taking into your career and how that has been benefiting you. You may be revisiting people, places, conversations that inspire you to start something new with your career. So maybe old business or coworkers coming back to say, hey, you should maybe try out this job again. Or maybe you're going to new places where you're giving job opportunities from old connections. Or maybe you're having conversations about career and what recognition really means to you. You're feeling inspired to courageously act on your health and habits in ways that align with your career too. So your 6th house is also activated with Mars being in Leo in your 6th house. So this could mean that you have been trying to recently take action in ways that are healthier for you, that maybe incorporate a bit of passion into your day-to-day life, that help you feel more loving in your day-to-day life, that require you maybe to be a bit more confident in your day-to-day life. Maybe you've been working on your health and that makes you feel more confident in yourself. And so these actions that you've been taking with your health and with your habits are helping you find a new beginning in your career, and vice versa. By starting something new in your career or redefining what recognition means to you, you could be having even more benefit to your health. You're starting new things in your career that support your growth towards becoming more independent and assertive in your finances and self-worth. So this is also tying into, of course, Aries being the North Node in your 2nd house. So whatever you start with your career right now is going to help you get the finances you know you're worthy of, or upgrade the self-worth you know you should have. You're also feeling a pull between career recognition and home and family time. How much of each of these do you want to have in your life? Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. For the new moon in Sagittarius on December 1st of 2024, first, you are reflecting on lessons you've learned and how you have expanded your horizons, I said that weird, with your beliefs to initiate something new in this area of life. This is happening in its home house for you, as usual, as an Aries, fellow Aries, where you are realizing that something needs to change in your beliefs. Something needs to change about the way you perceive the world. Something needs to change about the morals and structures and beliefs that shape how you see the world and see yourself. You're maybe revisiting old people, places, and conversations that inspire you to start something new with your personal philosophy and or travels. So the ninth house, again, as always, is not just physical exploration, it is mental, and it's not just mental, it's also physical. So if you're not feeling very called to change your beliefs during this time, if you're not changing diets or changing personal rules for yourself or changing religions or adding to those beliefs, it's possible that you do truly just in the end feel the desire to travel and step into the unknown. You may be having conversations with people revolving around maybe where you want to travel to. You may be meeting people from places you once traveled to, people who are considered, in a sense, quote unquote, foreigners. You may be having conversations about, you may be revisiting actually physically places you have been before that were once foreign places, or even still feel like foreign places. And this could help you shift your beliefs about the world or perception of the world as a natural byproduct, as always, because you cannot you can't step into the unknown physically without changing something mentally. At least I think. You're feeling inspired to courageously act on your romantic life and passions in ways that align with your new personal beliefs and desire to travel. So you feel the call to adventure, call to step into the unknown, call to expand your personal beliefs, your personal philosophy, your personal ideologies. But this also goes hand in hand with your romantic life, because in the end, you want to shift your personal beliefs to live a more passionate life. And so your passion and romance can go hand in hand with this. You may be meeting or going on dates with people who help you step into the unknown, or maybe going on dates that help you change your personal beliefs, or maybe you're just pursuing your passions and that invites you to travel more. There's many different interpretations to this, but those are some of the few. You're starting new things in your ideologies that support your growth towards becoming more independent and assertive in your sense of self. So you're changing your beliefs during this time. You're having experiences that are helping you change your beliefs, to up-level your beliefs in your personal philosophy. And as a result of changing your personal philosophy, you're going to be able to step into that independent, self-assertive, self-grounded sense of self that you're growing towards over this time, rather than your south node currently, which is about codependency. So moving away from codependence into true, healthy independence and self-sufficiency. And there's a different word I'm looking for, but I can't think of it. What is the word I'm looking for? Attachment. Healthy self-attachment, so to say. And you're feeling a pull between lighthearted communication and philosophical conversation. You can't quite decide if you want your conversations just to be light and about the weather, or if you want to jump into why are we here on Earth. It's a balance for you to work with. Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. For the new moon in Sagittarius on December 1st of 2024, you are first reflecting on the lessons you've learned and how you have expanded your horizons with your intimate relationships to initiate something new in this area of life. The 8th house, such fun themes, which means that it could be simply about your intimate relationship with yourself, but there is something coming up there, maybe an old lover coming back who is reminding you to initiate something new. It could be that you're getting back together, or it could simply be going, oh, yeah, this is what I don't want. This is what doesn't expand my horizons. But nonetheless, something from the past is coming into your life to help you expand your horizons, step into the unknown, live an enthusiastic life. Because of this also as well, you may be revisiting people, places, and conversations that inspire you to start something new with your closest relationships and deepest parts of the self. So maybe an old lover is coming into your life, or someone you used to be dependent on financially is bringing you to remind yourself of the depth you want to experience in life. Maybe you're having deep conversations with an old connection, an old partner. Maybe you're going back to places that remind you of the depth you want to have in a relationship and the depth you want to have with yourself. Maybe you're finding an old journal that reminds you of the deepest parts of yourself. You're also feeling inspired to courageously act on your family and place of living in ways that align with your desire for depth and meaning. So you realize and recognize that you want an intimate relationship, and you may be starting a new intimate relationship during this time, really sealing the deal with someone, saying that this is like, look, I can trust you, I can rely on you, whether that be financially, physically, mentally, or emotionally. And at the same time, this could change the place you live. You may be moving towards or considering other places to live that align with your passion and maybe require you to take a leap of faith. This could be something that is coming up for you as well. There could just be more joy at home and also at the same time, more depth with others. You're starting new things in your dependent relationships that support your growth towards becoming more independent and assertive on an unconscious level. What I really mean by that is the fact that this is activating your 12th house north node or current north node in your 12th house, where you are learning to overcome any unconscious beliefs that keep you from being assertive and independent. Any sort of unconscious blocks that keep you from feeling independent, or maybe that make you accidentally be aggressive rather than assertive. So maybe you're having experiences with your intimate partner or an intimate conversation with yourself that are helping you recognize how or what thoughts specifically are keeping you in negative patterns of either dependency or aggression or hyper independence. You're feeling a pull between intellectual self-sufficiency and deep connection. Given that Gemini is your 2nd house and Sagittarius is your 8th house right now, you may feel like you naturally want to just be curious, learn on your own, develop your own self-worth in intellectual ways, but maybe you're discovering that sometimes there's a non-linear process towards gaining a better connection with yourself. So you're trying to decide how much should you keep intellectually superficial and objective, and how much should you be subjective during this time. Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. For the new moon in Sagittarius on December 1st of 2024, you are first reflecting on the lessons you've learned and how you've expanded your horizons with your relationships to initiate something new in this area of life. This is happening in your opposing sign, your descendant sign. And so you are reflecting or maybe experiencing old connections come back with your one-on-one relationships. This is all about you deciding what you want from one-on-one relationships and initiating something new here. Exciting. You're maybe also, because this is Mercury retrograde we're talking about, revisiting people, places, conversations that inspire you to start something new with your relationships. So old people, old places, old conversations coming back to have something new happen in your one-on-one relationships. This could be an old lover, of course, coming in and having a new relationship with them based off an old conversation. This could be having an old conversation about relationships to have a new beginning in your current relationship. This could be revisiting old places that help you find the new relationships you're looking for. You're feeling inspired to courageously act on new things you've learned and your network. For some reason, the way I phrased that made me stutter or get confused. So you're feeling inspired to courageously act on the new things you've learned and your network in ways that align with your relationships. So you have been probably taking more action to have fun in your daily network, go to social events, or you've been learning about new passionate pursuits, reading new books that are exciting and fun for you, or learning new things that are just fun. And this could be this action could be very much in alignment with the new relationship you're looking for. Maybe, or not even looking for, maybe just the connection that you want, or the connections you deserve, or the connections that you should have potentially. In the end, the way you're acting in your network and the way you're communicating in your network and what things you're learning about are serving you well in defining the relationships you want to have one-on-one with everyone. You're also starting new things in your relationships that support your growth towards becoming more independent and assertive in your community. So the action that you're taking in your one-on-one relationships is going to help you find that sense of self that you really want to embrace in your community, and also that kind of independent, authoritative leader you want to feel like when it comes to your sense of purpose. You may be feeling a pull between independence and connection. Because Jupiter is in your sign, you may feel like, I've been doing good all summer with being on my own, but do I want a relationship? And that is a balance for you to play with. You can have both, but how do you want to have both? Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. The new moon in Sagittarius on December 1st of 2024 is first having you reflect on lessons you've learned and how you've expanded your horizons with your health to initiate something new in this area of life. Given that the 6th house, or Sagittarius is the 6th house for you, you're having some sort of breakthrough or stepping into something uncomfortable to have better health habits, or even to have routines that provide you more sense of passion for living or enthusiasm. You may be stepping out to adventure in your day-to-day life, going on more explorations in your day-to-day life. Also, given that this is Mercury retrograde we're talking about, you may be revisiting people, places, conversations that inspire you to start something new with your health and habits. So maybe old people coming back, reminding you, hey, remember this philosophy I told you about for your health? Maybe you should try revisiting that. Or maybe it's places going, hey, I actually really like being outdoors. Being outdoors is really good for my health, and going into new places. Maybe there's conversations you simply just need to have that are helping you remember about the health habits you need to embrace and the routines you want to have in your life. In the end, you're initiating something new in your routines, and this new initiation could be uncomfortable, but it brings you more passion for living, enthusiasm, and aligns with your vision for how you want to live. You're feeling inspired to courageously act on your finances and self-worth in ways that align with your new health habits and routines. So Mars being in your second house in Leo means you've been putting more passion into your self-worth, putting more energy into your financial life, working on your finances more, and also spending your money more on things that you really love. And this spending could be very much in alignment and help you with initiating something new in your routines. You're really realizing, yeah, all of my energy should go towards making me happy. And so that could be something that's easier for you to embrace during this time. And not only is this just gonna make you happy, it's gonna help you grow, because you are starting new things in your routines that support your growth towards becoming more independent and assertive in your career. So as a result of focusing on your health habits and finances and focusing on passion in these areas, you could be stepping into the independent and assertive and bold persona that you really need to embody in your career. But it starts with making those changes in your health, making those changes in your routines, and spending money on the things you love from a place of courage, but not ignorance, of course. I would never fully encourage someone to just go spend their money on all fun or anything. In the end, this is up for you to interpret. That's all I'm gonna say. Camera shaking. You're feeling a pull between mental development and physical action. With this being your 6th and 12th house, you may feel like you've been rewarded for going deeper into your psyche during this time, but you also feel like you need to take more tangible action. You're trying to decide, how much action do I need to take? How much self-reflection do I need to do? And that is a balance for you to work with. How much mental work do you need to do? How much time do you need to spend in meditation? How much action do you need to take? Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. For the new moon in Sagittarius on December 1st of 2024, you are first reflecting on lessons you've learned and how you've expanded your horizons with dating to initiate something new in this area of life. I love talking about 5th house horoscopes just because the 5th house is so fun. Can you tell that my North Node's in my 5th house? Every time I film a video, this is my reaction every time to talking about the 5th house. Yay, fun, lightheartedness. So Leo, you are reflecting on things you've learned in your dating life and maybe outdated beliefs or ideologies you have to let go of, and you're initiating something new in your dating life, or of course, your passions. What beliefs have been keeping you, or what have you learned about yourself that is keeping you from having the most fun in life, from having true fun in life? Fun is not always going out and drinking or going clubbing. What does true fun mean to you? These are realizations that you may be having right now and initiating new beginnings with. Given it's Mercury retrograde, you may be visiting people, places, conversations, and wow, we need to start that sentence over, guys. You may be, because of Mercury retrograde, revisiting people, places, conversations that inspire you to start something new with your passions in romantic life. So again, stereotype, old lovers could be coming back and saying, hey, let's give this another shot. Could also be that old connections are coming in and saying, hey, let's go do something fun. It could be going to old places and going, hey, I actually really like it here. Turns out this is a fun place to be that I enjoy. You may also just be simply going and trying old hobbies that you used to like, or having conversations about old hobbies that you used to like that you may want to revisit. You're also feeling inspired to courageously act on your sense of self and identity in ways that align with your new passions. Given that Mars is in Leo in your home sign, and I'm very sorry for you that Mars is going to go retrograde soon, because I know the energy just feels so good and so strong to have here, but never fear. With Mars being in Leo in your first house of sense of self, you may have been taking more action towards being in alignment with your sense of self, making sure that all your actions are in alignment with who you feel you truly are. And by doing so recently, this could also be helping you with learning new passions and taking aligned action and setting new, initiating something new in your passions. Not only is this aligning with your sense of self and your dating life and working out all those good things, but this is also great for your growth because you are starting new things in your play that support your growth towards becoming more independent and assertive in your ideologies. You're taking a massive shift in your personal beliefs ever since July of 2023. And this has been something you've been developing, and you're learning to become more assertive and independent in your beliefs, not having to be so reliant on people, and you may have been traveling more. And so whatever you initiate new during this time with your passions, with your play, with your fun, with your dating is going to help you really set in stone those ideologies and beliefs that you want to have, and that stable ground of beliefs that you want to have. You're feeling a pull between purpose and play, though. You have been recently in a mode of going and thinking that you need to have more meaning, have more big aspirations, make an impact on the world. And now it feels a little weird to be just focusing on the little things, or things such as silly as dating, when you could be changing the world and solving world hunger, so to say, potentially. Or even simply put, you've been focused more on community over the summer, focusing on friend groups rather than one-on-one interactions in dating and play and having fun on your own. And so this is a balance for you to work with and decide how much you need of each of these things. Of course, you can't have the perfect balance of both. Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. For the new moon in Sagittarius on December 1st of 2024, you are reflecting on lessons you've learned and how you have expanded your horizons with your home to initiate something new in this area of life. Being that Sagittarius is your fourth house of home, this is really impacting you in the sense that you want to initiate something new with your home and family life. Maybe that is initiating a new way of being and expanding your horizon, so to say, with how you interact with family members, or expanding your horizon of what you want from a home, where you want to live, how you want to live. Given that Mercury retrograde is here, you may be revisiting people, places, and conversations that inspire you to start something new with your family and home life. So old family members could be coming back. You could be interacting with family members you haven't seen in a long time. You could be going to old places that used to be home, old hometowns. And this could inspire you to think about how you want to really live now and initiate something new in your home life. You're feeling inspired to courageously act on your unconscious fears in ways that align with your new home life. Mars being in Leo in your 12th house puts a theme for you on courageously stepping into your unconscious mind, recognizing your fears and beliefs about attention and about fun and play, as well as just any other unconscious fears you may have, and how that's keeping you from living the life of comfort and joy that you want to live. So you may be having those realizations now, and this energy is supporting you towards new initiations in your home life. Not only are you growing, or not only are you focusing on home life, not only are you doing unconscious work, but this is also supporting your growth. In the end, you are starting new things in your home that support your growth towards becoming more independent and assertive in your intimate relationships. Given that the North Node is in Aries in your 8th house, changing your home life or recognizing unconscious fears could help you move towards what a true, intimate, trusting relationship should be, or at least should be for you. And you are feeling a pull between career and family. Naturally, over this summer, you've probably been in a bit more of a mode of just socializing and networking for the sake of career, and now you feel drawn towards having more sense of meaning and enthusiasm in your family life. And this is a balance for you to decide how to work with and how much you need of each of these things in your life right now. Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. For the new moon in Sagittarius on December 1st of 2024, you're reflecting on the lessons you've learned and how you've expanded your horizons with your communication to initiate something new in this area of life. Given that Sagittarius is your 3rd house for you, you may be realizing what you want from a daily network and how you want yourself to communicate on a day-to-day basis with said people. You may be realizing you want to have a bit more meaningful conversation with these people, or you could simply just be having these new conversations. You could be initiating these conversations, and specifically initiating these conversations that are more deep and meaningful in your day-to-day life with people you've met before, people of the past, or in places of the past, because Mercury is retrograde. So you're revisiting people, places, and conversations that inspire you to start something new with your network and communication. So old networks could be coming back and you could be having deeper conversation with them. Old places that used to be your daily network that now feel like more of a place of learning or a place to expand yourself, or just simply conversations about things of the past that are helping you clarify how you want to learn and grow in your day-to-day life. You're feeling inspired to courageously act on your purpose and community in ways that align with your new way of communicating yourself. So not only do you have third house energy here, but you also have 11th house energy for Leo. Mars being in Leo in your 11th house. You've been acting in ways that give you a sense of meaning in life. You've been focused on discovering what gives you a sense of purpose, what your impact is that you are going to uniquely leave on the world. And these could have been passionate pursuits. You could have been creatively expressing yourself, and that gave you a sense of meaning and purpose for being here. So that is working together with this new moon to bring you to a place of enjoying your daily community, enjoying your daily connections, or simply put, you've been spending time with friends and community, and that's helping you realize how you want to communicate with people and communicate with yourself on a day-to-day basis and how you express yourself. So this really energy could be something sort of creative publishing in my interpretation also. You're also growing. So you're starting new things in your learnings that support your growth towards becoming more independent and assertive in your relationships, because Aries is the North Node in your 7th house. And so whatever you do right now, whatever you initiate with the way you communicate yourself, the new ways you learn to seek depth and meaning in conversations in your day-to-day lives, the new things that you decide to start learning about that give you more depth and meaning could eventually or now play a role in you stepping into your highest path of growth of having a true, healthy, independent relationship. You're also feeling a pull between travel and meaning versus hometown and simplicity. And I put those two different phrases because, again, this could play out in the physical or more mental side of things. So in interpretation 1, you may feel the desire to leave your hometown, just wherever it is you're living, and just go see the unknown, go travel the world, pack a backpack, just go out there and live. But at the same time, you feel a draw to just stay home and be known by your network. Or this could play out in the sense that you have the call to talk about personal ideologies and beliefs and stand in your beliefs, and also just have simple little conversations about the weather and how your neighbor's doing and if he took his dog to the vet. You're feeling this push-pull between deep, meaningful experience that is in the unknown, the wild unknown, versus the simple little things. And this is a balance for you to play with. You can have both. And finally, Scorpio's best for last. Totally kidding. You guys are great, but no, zodiac sign is the best. Whatever. Moving on. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising for the new moon in Sagittarius on December 1st of 2024. Drum roll, please. You are reflecting on the lessons you've learned and how you've expanded your horizons with your wealth to initiate something new in this area of life. Can you tell I'm at the point of delirium? I have been working on this video all day to the point of mental exhaustion, but nonetheless, your horoscope is accurate. This is your 2nd house of wealth and worth, and so you are wanting to initiate something that is in alignment with your new sense of self-worth and what you believe is the wealth that you deserve. So this could be financial security or just an internal sense of self-security. With Mercury being retrograde in the 2nd house for you, you may be revisiting people, places, and or conversations that inspire you to start something new with your self-worth and financial security. So someone could be coming to your life that reminds you, hey, look at who you are. You deserve the world. You could be revisiting old places that remind you of a feeling of security you want to embrace in yourself. You could be revisiting old conversations that remind you of your self-worth or of ways to have better financial security that is self-reliant and not reliant on other people. You're also feeling inspired to courageously act on your career, in ways that align with your new sense of self-worth. So you're discovering your self-worth, you're initiating a new sense of self-worth that may be as a result of you stepping into the unknown in some way or seeking a deeper meaning in some way. And this is going to also work with your recent action that you've been doing in your career to have a more passionate pursuit in your career. You, with Mars being in Leo in your 10th house, you have been focused on play, love, and being bold and courageous, or even in the spotlight in your career. And now this is working with your sense of self-worth to start something new here, to do something new. Maybe your career has been helping you with your sense of self-worth. Not only is this all good things in your career and self-worth, but you're also working with your growth. You're starting new things in your finances that support your growth towards becoming more independent and assertive in your health and routines. With Aries being your 6th house, you have been growing towards changing your health habits, changing your health, changing your well-being, changing your daily routines, how these affect your health, how these affect your well-being, just simply how much you enjoy your routine life. And so this new moon in Sagittarius in your second house of self-worth is also going to be helping you with changing your health, changing your well-being, changing your routines, and working with your self-worth as well. You may be changing just something about your self-worth, up-leveling your self-worth that helps you give yourself the well-being you deserve. You are also, let's see, did I already cover that point? Yeah, duh. You're feeling a pull between self-sufficient exploration and intellectual connection with others. So meaning that with Gemini, Jupiter in Gemini, and the new moon being opposing each other in Sagittarius, of course, you feel a desire to, let's see, how do I want to say that? You're feeling a pull between you're learning about yourself and you're going, okay, I know what personal beliefs make me feel worthy. I know how I step out of my comfort zone. I know what experiences I need in order to feel this sense that I love myself. I'm a worthy person. And I also know what things I need to do that I want to spend money on, what kind of explorations and adventures I want to spend my money on, and ways I can make that money. And at the same time, as much as you're learning out about this, both emotional and financial sense of self-security, you're at the same time wondering if you should have more intellectual, deep connection with others, this lighthearted, intimate connection that is based on curiosity and understanding of others, or lightheartedness shared together. And this can be a hard balance to know what to do with, but overall, this is a balance for you to work with, and you can have both. So I know my lighting changed, it's not as pretty anymore, and that means that everyone wants to jump off the video, but let me know in the comments below if that gave you a good summary on everything you need to know about the new moon happening in the sign of Sagittarius on December 1st of 2024. Once again, we'll feel this energy 3 days before and 3 days after. So starting on the 28th through the 4th, we will be feeling this energy. Let me know if you're feeling this energy in the comments below. Let me know, did I miss anything? Share your interpretation of how this new moon is affecting you. And of course, your natal planets play a huge role in this. So if you have, for example, the new moon in 9 degrees of Sagittarius conjunct your Venus, or conjunct your Mercury, or conjunct your Mars, if it's forming an opposition, that's going to change your horoscope. And I would love to dive deeper into that with you in a reading. So book a reading in the link in the description below. And if you know absolutely nothing about your chart, don't worry, these readings are suitable for you. And if you know everything about your chart, but you just want an outside perspective, these readings are for you as well. They're not just astrology readings, they are numerology, Enneagram, complete personality readings. We can dive into any and everything in the end. The sky is the limit. Check it out, link is in the description below. And be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and stay tuned for more videos. If you are someone really quick who wants to learn how to give your own horoscopes, whether that be for other people and become an astrologer, or if you just want to be your own personal astrologer, so you can look at the birth chart wheel, so to say, or the chart wheel for this new moon, and you want to be able to give your own interpretation, and that's something that's hard for you to do, I invite you to check out my course, The Master Astrologer, my complete astrology course, in the link in the description below, where I teach everything that I've learned about astrology in just a clear, cohesive fashion, because to research everything online gets overwhelming. So if you want to learn astrology and you like my way of teaching things or explaining things, and you want to learn how to have your own unique interpretation, then check it out. Link is in the description below. You can also get 50% off the course by commenting the words Master Astrologer in all caps, and I will send you the information on how you can get half off the course. Link is in the description below. Learn more, book a reading. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and stay tuned for more videos breaking down the stars. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you watched all the way through, leave a comment below if you did, because you are appreciated. Once again, my name's Isabel, and from my heart to yours, namaste.